Hello, Tiger Nation, and welcome again to Keeping Your Eyes on the Tigers. This week's Memphis Flyer cover story was about Joe Jackson, and it was titled "The Game Chose Me." After reading the article, I still couldn't figure out the title and the story. But, it opened up and it was talking about, this city is serious about kings. It was talking about Elvis Presley being the king of rock and roll, and Jerry Lawler being the king of the ring, and they didn't put in B.B. King, but I'm throwing in B.B. King, the king of the blues, but it started off talking about, as a sophomore, Joe Jackson, when he was at White Station, he went and had tattooed across his chest, King of Memphis. That was kind of strange for a little young sophomore to do. As a matter of fact, I don't know how his mama would let him do it. I'd have broke his neck. But anyway, everybody's into tattoos now. But and then it talked on how it gave Joe's stats and everything when he was at White Station. It said that he led White Station to 3 class AAA championship games, and as a junior, he scored 35 points in the winning game to win the title for the 2009 year. It also said that Joe hit 3,451 points while he was there, which made him scoring the second most in the Shelby metro area. And also he was the fourth. He scored the fourth most points in the Tennessee history. So that was pretty good. But then they gave Joe Jackson stats. Joe has had a pretty good season, pretty good career so far. After he got to the University of Memphis, Joe and only Joe and Elliot Perry are the only ones that have accumulated 1,500 points and have 500 assists. And then it also says that Joe and Keith Lee are the only 2 that was named twice as most valuable player in a conference tournament. Also, it says that Joe was the only Tiger to make more free throws than Elliot Perry, Keith Lee, and Larry Finch. So, Joe has had a pretty good career so far. It also told, a little bit about how Joe was the head of his family, well, not so much the head, but his family really looked up to him, and he kept them boosted up and everything. So pretty much so, like Coach always talks about, he says that the team feeds off of Joe Jackson's energy and Shaq's energy, But it was also given the points on how it said that Joe was really interested in. He really wanted to play in the NBA. That's his main goal, is to play in the NBA. But if he don't make it to the NBA, it's saying that with him graduating within 3 years, he has a degree in accounting. So he's got some smarts, which is real good. But I've watched Joe over his 4 years of playing at Memphis, and Joe has struggled. He's had a good career, but it hasn't been a good one of those outstanding careers where you can see a player and he, his freshman year, he was pretty good. In his sophomore year, he got better, and so on and so on. Joe has struggled all along to me through his career, but he has done, he's done good. He's just, he's just struggled to me. But, this year has been, for Joe and for the whole team, to me, as I've always said, this year has been full of uncertainties. They've been up and down. And, for four senior guards to come in, when you got senior guards and all of them have been playing good, I mean, they've been basically in starting positions, or else they was the sixth man. They've been playing. It ain't somebody that's just been riding the oak. I mean, their senior career season's supposed to be the best. I mean, they supposed to be cutting up, but I say since January, these guys have been just completely weak. I mean, they've just been terrible. This season, they've had a bad case of, I say they had a bad case of bipolar disease, disorder. Every time I see them, I can hear the man that does that Lakeside commercial. He always saying, and somebody with bipolar, they go up and down. They happy one minute, sad the next minute. In Lakeside, for those that are not here from Memphis, Lakeside is a place where for people with addictions and stuff like that, handle mental cases and stuff like that. But that's the way the Tigers have been playing. All this the latter part of this season. I mean, they really been off. They've been up and down. I was looking at a little stat a little bit earlier as I was doing some research on these Tigers. It had points up and they had a bunch of points down. They had almost as many points down as they did up. So that's the way the Tigers. That's the way they've been playing all this season. But let's look at these Tigers. I looked up the end of the season stats. And they finished the season averaging shooting 47.9% from the field goals, and 36.3% from the 3-point range. And well, their free throw shooting has never been good nowhere. They only averaged 64%, And the main thing that I was really looking at was turnovers. They for the season they had 431 turnovers with Gerard Johnson leading with 79, and Shaq had 73 turnovers. That's just outrageous for and especially with Gerard being a senior, to have 79 turnovers, that's really rough. But after the SMU game, I've been nervous, I've been sick, because I just didn't know who was going to show up for the first game in the tournament. To me, I just felt that they just wasn't going to go no further than the first round. And sure enough, when the tournament came about, I was waiting to see who was going to show up. And you know who showed up in the game against UConn? Nobody. Nobody showed up. I mean, it was like they must have stopped on their way to the FedEx Forum, and they stopped down on Beale Street, and they must have had 1 2 minutes, because they didn't show up. I mean, they were held to only shooting 14 shots from the floor. That were made shots. I mean, they shot 26%. From the field goal range, and that's somebody that's been shooting 47%. You know, and you can't muster up, and these here 4 senior guys. I mean, you supposed to be on your best in tournament time. You know, and they shot 26%. I mean, and then they only shot 20. They made 20 or 37 from the free throw range. You know, they wound up losing this game by 19 points. I mean, it was just so pitiful. I started to turn it off in the first half, but I said, well, I got to do the video, and I need to really see just how bad this game was. But I watched it all the way up to, I say, within about 3 minutes left in the game, and I just couldn't take it no more. I said, they done lost the game anyway, but they lost the game 72 to 53. And here's the stats for the game. You know, Joe Jackson was on the 4 for 12 from the field goal range. He only took 1 shot from the 3-point range, and he missed that one. And then he was 2 for 4. Now here's somebody that's supposed to be an outstanding free throw shooter. He was 2 for 4 from the free throw line, and he only had 10 points. Then we had Chris Crawford. Chris was 3 for 11 from the field goal range, 3 for 10 from the 3-point range. He made one free throw, and you know, he finished up with 10. And Shaq, I just don't know what to say about Shaq. Shaq picked up 2 fouls right quick, and he had to sit out the whole first half. But it was still like Shaq didn't show up. He was 1 for 3. And then he was 6 for 12 from the free throw line. You know, he finished up with 7 points. And Michael Dixon, my 6th man, the 6th man of the year for the conference. He really must have had too much, you know, to drink, because Michael was 0 for 7 from the field goal. He was 0 for 3 from the 3-point range, and he was 1 for 2. Michael only had 1 point. So, you know, the Tigers didn't show up. You know, but the honest good part about the game that I can say is they had less turnovers than UConn did, but still they had a whole bunch. They had 12 turnovers to UConn's 15, and Nicholas had 4 of those turnovers. So, you know, I just don't know what to say about these Tigers. And then now we getting ready to go into the big dance. You know, this is something that teams live for all season long, to make it to the NCAA tournament. You know, you know, I just don't know. You know, I don't know what to say. Do we need a coach's change? You know, I was looking at the during the game on the Facebook. I was looking at the comments that was coming in, and everybody was really hollering about, you know, we need a new coach. They was even talking about UConn's old coach that has retired. You know, they were saying, well, maybe we need to get him. You know, Memphis do need to spend some money on a real good coach if they ever do get another one. But, you know, I just look at the team was not prepared for that game. I mean, it was just ridiculous. They played like a bunch of kindergartners. I've seen little kids play better than that. But anyway, you know, the season is over with, and we are going to the NCAA tournament. We are playing I believe we are playing in the South region, and we'll be playing in Raleigh, North Carolina. We got an 8 seed, and we are playing against George Washington Friday. I don't have a time on that, but the time will come up pretty soon. But I don't see how Memphis made it in, and SMU didn't make it in. To me, SMU has proven more than Memphis have in this latter part of the season, but that's the way it is. thank goodness that the American Athletic Conference did get 4 teams in the tournament. So, you know, let's support all 4 teams that are in there, and let's pray that that Memphis can go ahead on. And really looking at the South region, Memphis stands a good chance to probably make it to the 16 if they show up. But anyway, let's hope that they show up and you know, really play for us, and don't be like they were last Thursday night. But anyway, y'all, I'll see y'all later. Bye now.